Hey everybody, it's Bad News Bert coming to you with my Tempest Cup highlights here in Lawrence, Kansas. So here's my team that I took in. I feel like this is probably my best team that I've brought in so far, as it does two things. I feel like it's really strong. It's also got some spice to it, that mainly being the Dragonite. But also with my double legacy Magneton, double legacy Lapras, and that's Ice Shard, Dragon Pulse, and then the Dragonite was a Breath Claw, Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, Dragonite, which I probably wouldn't have used if I just hadn't experimented with it, because I had one that was a low CP, bad IV. And it just turned out to be like really cool. I'll go into that more later. And then also having the Tropius, which was kind of hard to get, but also really, really good. Altaria to kind of make my Dragonite really usable. And then Quagsire just being one of my favorite Great League Pokemon and also really good. Okay, so my first opponent came to, it was Morrtos. Again, just like in the last tournament. Here's Morrtos' 6. Okay, so the battle I'll be showing you is going to be the second battle. In the first battle, here's what my thinking was that, okay, this is a good chance to try to use my double dragons, because he doesn't have an ice type with a really strong ice type fast move. So I can switch into my Dragonite, and which what I did is I had a switch in where I switched into Dragonite, sacrificed it basically, did a bunch of damage, and then came out with Altaria and just swept it. But so for the second battle though, I was wanting to try something different. Anyway, here's the battle. One other thing I was looking at was that his team was kind of weak to Quagsire, with only one Pokemon, his Abomasnow, beating it. And then since I had Tropius is just like a superior version of Abomasnow in a lot of ways in this tournament. So here's the match. I go with this basically a Magneton coverage team. Tropius is like one of the best rated leads, if not the best rated lead in the tournament. And then Magneton was a great closer, so here it goes. He leads the worst possible thing probably for me. Charizard, I switched to Quagsire though. And as I said, unless he's got an Abomasnow in the back, which was kind of a risky move, he doesn't really have a good counter for this. I go ahead and take the Blast Burn, still does a lot of damage because it's an OP move, but it's fine. Because I'm going to wreck him with one of these Stone Edges if he doesn't block. Okay, he switches out, but he switches to Raichu. And it's not a Legacy Raichu because the hat means basically that it came out after the Legacy moves. So I kind of know how this one goes. I choose to shield because I feel like I want to just kind of like build up on this guy, because his electric moves aren't going to do anything. But then I guess I choose to go out just to go down, and then I'll just build up my Magneton a bit for whatever's coming next. And it's Skarmory. Not sure why he went to Skarmory. Maybe he wasn't used to a double legacy Magneton, so that burns him really bad. And I'm just building up, getting ready for that Charizard that's in the back. I'm going to hit it with a Discharge. And that's game. Good game, Morrtos. Alright, my second opponent, Captain Johnston. Okay, so Captain Johnston won Lawrence's first tournament, the Boulder Cup. And I haven't had a chance to fight him before, so this is our first encounter. Let's take a look at his 6. So when I look at a team of 6, usually what I do is scan to see if any one of my Pokemon can beat like 3 or 4 of theirs. Tropius could beat the Steelix, the Lantern, the Celio in a lot of situations, but would have a lot of trouble with Altaria or Skarmory, so it's not super strong. My Dragons would actually do kind of okay. They could beat a Tropius, a Lantern, another Altaria. Could beat a Celio in the right situation. Does well against Skarmory and Steelix. I don't know, maybe a draw. So I try out the double dragons on this one. This is kind of a ballsy move. Okay, so Johnson actually won our first match. This was our second. I lead with Tropius. He goes Steelix. So I'm just going to pause this right here to say that on our first match, he led with Celio. I led with Lapras, which was kind of bad news for me. I'm thinking that he thought that I would react to Celio with Magneton, which is why he led with Steelix. But leading with Magneton, like I said before, is not the best move. It's better to lead with Tropius and have Magneton in the back. Anyway, I lead with Tropius, and I've got the 2 dragons in the back. So this was a really good match, and I felt like, you know, I could probably pull it off. Go ahead and shield that Crunch, because I want to see, you know, where I end up after this Leaf Blade. He shields it. As you can see, I'm winning this matchup as predicted. Heavy Slam. I go ahead and block that too. I don't know. It's kind of early to be using all my shields, but take out the Steelix. He goes Skarmory. Switch to Dragonite, in which he switches very quickly out of to Celio. Now, this is one of those matchups where it's like, yeah, the Celio can win, but look at how much I'm doing to this thing. And Dragonite goes down. I'm gonna go back to Tropius to finish this thing off. With the Body Slam. Okay, looking pretty good going into this last Pokemon. I'm going to whip out the Leaf Blade because I know it's a Skarmory. It's going to waste me really fast. Now, I'm going to come back to that here in a second. I go ahead and go down to the Skarmory, and I've got a full Altaria to use against this thing. I don't know how it's going to end up, but it's looking pretty good for me. Flash Cannon, that was a surprise. That he had built up that much energy already. I go for a Sky Attack. Okay, he had that shield. It's looking really close. I'm starting to sweat here. I get to it, and at this point, okay, I'm gonna pause it here. So at this point, Johnston was saying, "Good game, man, good game," and I was taking a breath of relief at pulling off this and not going down, you know, 2-0. I literally, upon building up this charge move, stopped looking at my screen even and was saying, "Oh man, you almost had me." And he says, "Oh yeah, I did. I won." And I look down, and this is what I see: Flash Cannon gone. I was kind of shooken up by that, because I had thought that I not only lost, but lost because I stopped looking at my screen. Now I do want to go back to something. Okay, so right there, it lives on a sliver of health, right? But if you go back and look, the icon for my moves doesn't come up, so that means that we tied, and so I don't have to feel too badly about having lost because of something stupid like not looking at my screen because I thought I already won. And then if I go back to this, though, this is kind of interesting. So when Tropius was about to go down and I used this Leaf Blade, I don't get this thing fully charged up. That would have been the difference. That would have been the difference between a win and a loss, possibly. I mean, we still would have had our third round. But kind of disappointing. Another thing where it's like you got to go 100% every time to even stand a chance of like really winning these things. And so going in, another thing, like I went in with Dragonite to this tournament as a bit of like expression versus going in with Skarmory. If I would have had a Skarmory in this situation, I definitely would have like beat him, because I could have switched into the Skarmory to deal with the Cilio. And yeah, anyway, good game to Johnston. I'm going to show you guys the next two battles in the next video. So thanks for watching. See you then.